everyone, and welcome to my Worcester State journey through nursing school. So just to start off, why is it that I want to become a nurse? Well, there's several factors that played into my eventual decision to choose this occupation. So first and foremost, my family is one of my main influences in why I chose this. My family has always been my rock. My parents are of the mindset that even if you can make one person smile in a day, you can make a difference, and in nursing you can do just that. Watching and helping so many members of my family struggle with health issues has shown me how much of a positive impact even small acts of kindness can make. I've seen so many compassionate, empathetic, and strong caregivers who have helped us so much even through small acts of kindness like offering a hand or taking that extra step just to make them feel more comfortable and loved. Nursing has the potential to help you build so many lasting or memorable relationships. The occupation itself is a connecting dot in the healthcare system that allows you to interact with a great number of staff members, patients, and their families. It's such an incredible place to form and develop relationships. I also chose nursing because I get to be a caregiver and a caretaker who can potentially help people and make a difference in their lives. Success to me is happiness, but also having the ability to leave a place better than you found it, which is what I hope to do in my future career path. And here is just like a note I got from a client's mother after she passed away. It just struck a chord in me, so I wanted to share it. Alright, so how did it all start? Well, in high school I didn't really have a solid understanding of what I wanted to do until my junior year. I liked the idea of nursing and thought, why not? How about I give it a shot? If I make it, great. If not, we'll figure it out and choose something else. So I applied to a bunch of schools. The very first application I got back was from Worcester State, I believe in December of 2017. And I toured the place, went to the open house, and I loved it. So this is where I chose to go. And I got accepted in the program. I remember thinking first, how did I get into nursing school? I don't think my grades are that great, but it ended up being okay. And I was so excited about the potential and putting on those scrubs for the first time to start. I was placed on the third floor of Sheehan Hall in my freshman year, entirely built up of nursing and health science students. So I got to meet a bunch of different people on that floor. I don't think I'll ever forget freshman year. My first ever roommate, Amanda, was also a nursing student. We would study, cry together almost every day. We quickly made friends with other nursing majors on our floor as well and took over the Blue Lounge where we lived more than our actual rooms. Up in the upper right picture, that's just a typical study night. Then we had my dad on Parents' Weekend. Just thought that was fun. Freshman year concluded with the white coat ceremony and getting my first ever PCA job position at Home Instead Senior Care, where I still work as a caregiver, office assistant, client care manager, and PCA trainer today for new orientees. It was on a sophomore year in Wesleyan Hall where I lived with my friends I had made freshman year. Fundamentals of nursing and patho-pharm quickly crowded our schedules. This is what felt like the start of the real nursing classes, but at least we had late night studying and 11 p.m. Mickey D hotcakes to get us through. In the spring semester of my sophomore year was our first clinical at Fairlawn Rehab Center. I had an amazing first group and instructor. I remember one of the highlights was actually my first day. I was taking care of my very first patient ever. We discovered shortly after she tested positive for C. diff. I just remember getting that email and then going home and bleaching my entire dorm top to bottom. Ran my scrub through the wash like 2 times. and what seemed like drowned my name badge, shoes, stethoscope, and blood pressure cuff and Lysol. A little over the top, but I was a newbie, so caution. I remember sophomore skills day was one of the scariest days of my life in nursing school. It didn't end up being as bad as I worked up in my head, but oh man, those nursing school anxiety, it doesn't mess around. We had to memorize checklists and develop basic nursing skills on our sim patients and try our best to avoid fumbling or breaking sterile field. So the very first announcement that we would be switching to online, I was actually in astronomy class when they sent out this email to kind of boot us off campus due to safety reasons. In March 2020, that's kind of when everything really started to change. They announced it and we quickly had to move off. We had to move out of our dorm. It was a mad dash back home, but I remember asking myself, how are we supposed to do nursing online? It's such a hands-on major. It's going to be so different virtually, but we figured it out and had a whole lot of VSIM that we still were able to learn a lot from. This is me and my laptop. We've been best friends through this entire thing. I take her everywhere, not really sure if that's healthy, but she's my buddy. Oh boy, okay, yeah, this was a rough one, to be honest. I was still in Waysian Hall for junior year, but I remember this was definitely the toughest year of school. Especially obstetrics. OB honestly almost kicked me out of this program. Definitely the worst class for me personally, it just didn't seem to click as well. I remember a point where I was very close to failing out from one really bad exam grade, but somehow pulled that around by the grace of somebody. I definitely know there's a very specific Burger King I had a panic attack in somewhere in Worcester. Not one of my proudest moments, kind of embarrassing, but the OB clinical was absolutely amazing. One of my favorites by far. We were at St. Vincent Hospital. I got to care for so many moms and babies, and it was overall just a very exciting place to be. And all the moms I was able to meet were just so thankful and happy. Okay, I loved peds. This was definitely one of my favorites. It clicked a lot more for me than maternity did. And clinical here at UMass Memorial Medical Center was great. Having the specialties really showed how many doors you can open with this major and what a diverse population you can work with. Although I wish we had more days to experience this rotation of clinical, the days we did have taught us a lot and gave perspective to a subdivision I hope to enter later in my career. The spring 2021 vaccine clinic was definitely a highlight of nursing school for me. It was the first step in feeling like a real nurse and making that difference. It was also new and exciting, and I've never met people happier to get a shot, even to this date. While I dreaded the thought of med-surg clinical over the summer of 2021, I learned the most from this rotation. Our instructor, Professor Valinsky, was an ICU nurse, specifically in neuro, but she did a med-surg rotation and taught us so much while encouraging us to be more independent, and she was overall just such a great instructor. We loved having her. This is the clinical that made me want to enter med-surg for my first year as a new grad. Here's my group. Senior year, it was out of the Worcester State dorms and into my very first apartment, which was new and exciting. I moved in with a couple close friends I met, and while I was sad to leave, it's also been a great stepping point and a place to call home as we make it through this final year. All right, so fall semester of senior year. It was fun. We looked at another set of specialties. For community clinical, I worked in a group home with a host of individuals with different psychiatric and medical disorders. We were placed in charge of encouraging them to participate in activities and keeping them motivated and active in interaction with one another. Psych clinical, we had at Harrington Hospital on a co-occurring disorders unit. Psych, I remember I was nervous to enter because I wasn't entirely sure what to expect or how to prepare, but I loved this clinical. It gave a new perspective. It was less about the skills and more about the interpersonal aspect of nursing. It gave me a new and refreshed perspective on mental health and the dangers of stereotyping. We must always check our biases at the front door and go in with a clean slate in order to provide quality, equal care. This spring semester, we're back to med-surg, and boy did we miss it. I was fortunate enough to get a preceptorship at St. Francis Rehab Hospital with a previous travel nurse named Shane. Daily we care for about 10 to 14 rehab patients. I've been able to form so many close connections with some of the people on our floor, and my preceptor Shane has been amazing and taught me so much and been just an incredible encourager through the semester. He's always like, just keep going, just keep pushing, and it was really great to have him. For the first part of the spring, I took part in a clinical group with Professor Ishola while the preceptorship processed, which was great. I love being in a group environment, and it's nice working with other students as well because you're able to learn things from each other. I loved my group, and I was able to meet so many new faces. From Becker, this right here is my preceptor, Shane, on our very last day on the right. And then on the left is Professor Ishola in my group. As for my next steps, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do right out, but I do have a general plan. The first step, of course, is the hope of passing the NCLEX the first try, then hopefully moving on to work 1 to 2 years in medical surgical nursing, before eventually branching into travel nursing. I love the idea of developing a strong skill set, and I feel med-surg allows great exposure and experience to the hospital environment. Travel nursing will open my eyes to a wide variety of variation when I do get there. It allows you to see different healthcare system setups, and I think it's just great for growing and kind of well-rounding you as a nurse. I hope to learn a lot from this and grow while meeting a bunch of people along the way. And that's pretty much it. That concludes my presentation. I wanted to say thank you and good luck to you all in your next steps. And have a great end to this semester.